You're so tender. I wanna know, can you feel it too? Just like I do. Oh, this stuff is starting now. It's the same feeling I always seem to get around you. There's no mistaking, I'm clearly taken by the simple mere thought of you. Check it out, watch this.
You're watching Find Your Grind Live. We got an amazing guest today coming soon.
Jolene, 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 I'm begging of you, please don't take my man. Jolene, 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 please don't take him just because you can. Your beauty is beyond compare, with flaming locks of auburn hair, with ivory skin and eyes of emerald green. Your smile is like a breath of spring, your voice is soft like summer rain, and I cannot compete with you, Jolene. He talks about you in his sleep, and there's nothing I can do to keep from crying when he calls your name, Jolene. And I can easily understand how you could easily take my man, but you don't know what he means to me, Jolene.
You can get a bigger Chanel back in the store if you want it. I gave him the drill, they set it up, I got him on it. I bought a new Patek, I had to white so I two-tone. Taking these drugs, I'm gonna be up until the morning. That ain't your car, you just a Lisa, you don't own it. If I'm in the club, I got that fire when I'm performing. If that can't just came in and all corners. Vibes galore, cute, they all loners. I'm from Atlanta where young run. I know they hating on me, but I don't read comments. Whenever I tell her to come, she come. Whenever it's smoke, we ain't running. Drip too hard, don't stand too close. You gon' fuck around the town. Off this way, doing all these shows. I've been on the road, I don't care where I go, long as I get paid. Bad little vibe, she been on my mind. Soon as I get back, she get straight. Do this all the time, this ain't no surprise. Every other night, another movie get made.
I know I am smelling like your cookie. I don't even smoke, but my bro got a hole on him. Riding with a hooker from the pole with a goal on him. If he tryna go, let me know.
Still a misfit, talking stains and biostatistics. Fitted and sitting low like the leader of Limp Bizkit. Femdot, so shorty to bring it on like Kristen.
Oh yeah, I know I am smelling like your cookie. I don't even smoke, but my bro got a hole on him. Riding with a hooker from the pole with a goal on him. If he tryna go, let me know. Ain't no fault in him. Oh yeah, I know I am smelling like your cookie. I don't even smoke, but my bro got a hole on him. Riding with a header from the pole with a goal on him. If he tryna go, let me know. Ain't no fault in him.
I put the new 4G's on the G. I trap into the bloody bottles is underneath. Cause I'm a got it out the streets. I keep 100 racks inside my jeans. I remember hitting them all with the whole team. Now I can't answer calls cause I'm all in. I was waking up getting racks in the morning. I was broke, now I'm rich, deep, salty. All this designer on my body got me drip, drip. Straight up out the objects, I'm a big trip. If I got up on a lean, I'm a sip, sip. I run the racks up with my queen, like London and nip, 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 nip.
Hey, yeah. I been ballin'. Now watch me ball on it. Hey, now watch me ball on it. Now watch me ball on it. Now watch me ball on it. Yeah.
Sound effects.
Friday, you're here. Kayleen, you're here. Everybody, you're here. Welcome to FYG Live, 20 minutes of insights and inspiration for students, educators, and parents. I'm Charlie Kane, one of the content producers here at Find Your Grind, and with me is the selector herself, Kayleen.
Selector, new one. Add that to
I
my
try to
email.
change it up every week, you know what I'm saying?
Same. I like how you said, I'm here, you're here, we're here, Kayleen's here, you're here right now.
Yeah, Friday, we made it. We made it.
Friday.
So tell us, Kayleen, more about today's guest.
Yes. Okay. Today's guest is a music artist who's considered one of Chicago's prominent rising MCs. He was the direct support for Toby Lou on a 24 city sold out tour, and he's been praised very highly by MTV, Double XL, Vibe magazine, and many more. The crazy part is that he studied immunology and infectious diseases in college and incorporates health in his music. And he's participated with like Lululemon on making sure like the health initiative is involved into his tour and into his music. Great.
That's amazing. So we have him on our show today because this week we're talking about strengths and values and how identifying yours leads to opportunities, debunking the idea that opportunity is just based on luck. There's a reason as to why our guest has taken the pathway he has from biology to rap and is able to incorporate both and package it into his music. And frankly, we're here for it. So let's all welcome Femdot.
Woo! Yeah. That's me and Charlie. Recorded that.
I filled little laugh, the quality sitcom laugh. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, I need to download laughs for whenever we make a joke. I didn't even think about that because we're funny. Very.
You need
I
to,
think
you
that's
need to-
more you, Kayleen. I'm here for the emotional part. But yes, studio audience, we're here. What's up, Fem? How are you?
I'm well, can't complain. You know, staying safe and healthy out here in these streets. Well, virtual streets. We're not in the streets. We in the house.
We
So-
love it. Yeah. We want to know more about you, and for our audience who may not know you yet, tell us your whole backstory. Tell us about what you do and how you got to where you are today.
Okay, full backstory. Got you. So I was born on the north side. I was born in Evanston and grew up in the south suburbs and the north side of Chicago, like Uptown and Rogers Park. I've been rapping since I was like 6 years old. I've also been in school since then and always kind of like science. And as I've gotten older, both of those things became more prominent and more serious in my life. As time went along, I just continued to develop the craft while I was still in school. I went to Penn State my freshman year of college, and then came to DePaul University to finish, so I could be in Chicago and still make music while getting my education. Graduated from DePaul in 2018. Have a biological sciences degree. But I rap full time, and that's how I pay my bills and keep myself sane. I'm also really bad with backstories, but I feel like I'm doing all right.
No, that's good. Were you ever planning on using your biological sciences degree at all?
Yeah. I mean, I had like a little crossroads where it was like, all right, if I stop rapping right now, I could work for the CDC. But I did stop
The
rapping.
pen probably would have needed you a lot today, by the
Yeah,
way.
yeah, 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 yeah. All my homies is like, all that rap stuff cool, but like right now we need science film. That's what we need. But I think once I realized I can kind of still incorporate it into what I'm doing, is more or less just rooted in the fact of like I'm able to show people they can do anything they want to do. I choose to rap, and I have expertise on other things that come into play. And if I want to advocate for things such as sickle cell, or be able to kind of do research on stuff like COVID-19 or anything else, and kind of do my own research, I have background where people will listen to me because of my musical influence, but also like be like, okay, I'll be able to get these facts across or be able to advocate for something because I have expertise in it. So it comes back right away, especially in a time like this. So
Right. So is the intersect between biology and music, is it just you being able to use advocacy from your reach and your influence?
that's it's a large part, but also I think music is biology in a way. I think biology literally is just the study of life. It's how you is telling your story. It provides context. And I believe I personally look at music in a biological way. Like when you look at like a someone who tells stories about their life, it's autobiographical. It has bio in it. Like it's still the same thing. You're talking about life, and I think biology is allowing to understand why somebody's the way they are. And if you understand the biology of a person or their environment or the sociology or the ecology, or why their situation is set up the way it is, then them as a person makes a lot more sense. And thus, the music they make makes a lot more sense. So I think biology weaves into music a lot more than we probably think about. It's more than just, mixing chemicals and stuff like that. So,
For sure. Yeah, I love that. I mean, just the breakdown of the word biology, the study of life, like that makes a lot of sense. And you do touch in like, when you know yourself more, you can create better music or create better art, and that's also part of self-discovery. A
uh,
big part of us too. So that's really tight. I mean, how this intersects and how you've been able to package it into music is truly authentic to you. How did you figure out your strengths and values and learn your voice?
I think what it was is I was actually talking about this the other day. As artists, a lot of times we feel that we should make something to reach people or to touch other people, or when you make things with other people in mind or whatever. But I think what I realized was what was separating me or keeping me apart was my authenticity, and I think that was literally just rooted in me just telling my story as me as possible without any outside influences in terms of like how I want to construct my story. Granted, you'll have influences based on, developing as a person and as an artist, but I think on just the idea of how I wanted to tell my story needed to come strictly from me. And the ideas need to come strictly from me. And then I realized that was what was working. Me being me, I think we all have one of our biggest strengths is just being human in general, and that's the only thing that everyone can relate to. There's always certain elements that of your life that people won't be able to necessarily understand, or everyone comes from different walks of life. But because everyone's human, if you're showing that aspect of yourself, like, okay, like I'm flawed, I have this going on, I have feelings, I'm still figuring stuff out. I'm not perfect. That's something that I feel like everyone can relate to. And I think once I realized that that was my biggest strength, I started making that the focal point of my artistry.
Were you were you always working on music throughout high school and into college? Was that something new that you picked up, or were you always just like good with the pen?
Oh no, I've been working on music. I used to sell mixtapes in middle school. Like I used to be walking around with burnt CDs, passing out mixtapes in middle school. I've been recording literally probably nonstop since I was about. I started recording like six, and by like 8 or 9, I was trying to record at home. Using Rock Band mics or Cool Edit Pro or whatever I could find.
Hmm.
So I've always been kind of developing my craft. I think I made a really large leap once I started writing poetry as well, and that came through like working with these open mics in Chicago, like U Media and Young Chicago Authors, and doing like Louder Than a Bomb and things of that. Kind of helped me transition to looking at rap less as rap and more of writing. Less of just like, oh, this is completely separate from writing, and more looking at it like as if I'm still a writer. But yeah, I've high school was when I really started sharpening the pen for real, and I was like, okay, I'm alright at this, But I've been rapping since like no matter what point in my life you have known me, you have known that I've rapped a bit.
Yeah.
So
So it sounds like what you value and what pushes your music. Well, your mood lighting.
we back, we back,
I'm
we back,
here.
we back, we back.
What you value is a lot of like advocacy and like influence, for your art to be heard or
Yeah.
seen. And then your strengths definitely is the pen or writing. Are there any other strengths that you can think of that helped impact you as far as like discovering that you wanted to go into music?
Structure. I plan. I plan like crazy. I plan everything. I
And
plan this whole way out.
you were always like that?
Yeah, it was something I had to continue to work on.
Yeah.
But growing up in a first generation household, and I'm sure you can attest to this as well, um, you kind of got to just plan everything because
Hmm.
your parents got to know what's going on. So you got to find a way to plan things, whether it's supposed to be what you're supposed to be doing or not. So I started applying that logic to everything. I'm like, if I can, apply the logic of how I plan to have fun in high school or whatever to my career or whatever, things would start making sense. So that I changed my mindset to start planning a lot. So everyone who knows me knows I map out everything. But it also allows you to be able to get help, and you need help when you're doing anything, and that's something I had to learn too. Like you need people, like you need someone to help you. But people are much more willing to help you when you have everything already planned out, because that way you're not coming to somebody like, oh, I want to do this. Well, how? I don't know. Even if you don't necessarily have um, like all the information on what you want to do, starting a plan means you have a direction. And so yeah, I think one of my biggest strengths is planning, because that leads to manifesting things at that point. So
Yeah.
I haven't always been a super crazy planner. Like that, at least I thought I haven't always been a planner, but I have. I just haven't always directed that strength in the right way.
Yeah. But that's the thing, though. It's like we're human and we're always evolving, and it always also depends on like I don't know what milestone we are, or what path we're on in our life, or what age we're at, if you want to believe in age. But
Yeah.
we're constantly evolving. So the strengths part, it's like it'll only get stronger because you're like building up on that, or you're adding new things into your toolkit. And the same with values. Like our values tend to change or evolve too as we get older. We experience different things in our lives.
Yeah.
Has any of your values changed since you've been on tour, since you've been a lot more front facing and like getting exposed to different crowds? Has any of your values shifted?
I think more or less just I think a lot of my values have gotten strengthened. I think even the idea of just being, authentically myself. Like for example, Toby Lou is him all the time. Every Whatever you see from Toby, that's him, right? And going on tour with him and being able to see the type of fans he brings out people of all ages, all demographics, all colors, everything. You'll see a grown man with buns in his hair and a star screaming all the Toby Lou lyrics. It doesn't really matter. And I think even seeing that only further solidified too. They're like, oh, I can literally just be me 100% too because it works, you know. So just really, just a lot of my values have been strengthened just from seeing the world more. It just further solidifies that one, I need to continue to see the world, to continue to see people, and it provides a lot of context in terms of like why people are the way they are. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so if anything, I think it open and seeing more of the world makes you more understanding to what's going on around you because you have a little more like a little more context and different why people have different vantage points.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but
Empathy.
overall, yeah, empathy's big.
Empathy. Yeah.
It's big.
Yeah. Earlier, or right before this, you were talking about help, a team, a squad, a crew,
Yeah.
you know? So, aside from learning your strengths and values, who and what you're surrounded by impacts how you practice your craft. Can you tell us more about your squad and the impact that they made?
Oh yeah, without a question. I love talking about. I can talk about them all day. So I have two managers, Tamika and Elliot. They run everything for me. Us, we're like a three-man machine. Well, Tamika's a woman, but we are a three-person machine, and they're phenomenal, man. They know how I work. I think that's very important. You need to work with somebody who can complement how you already work, and be able to communicate with you. If they feel a type of way, you need to be able to trust it. I trust these people. I don't really let too many people dictate what I sound like and whatever, but I trust their ear and their judgment, and I know that they have my best interest at heart. And I pretty much work with a lot of the same people. A lot of my producers, Charles Lost and D Phelps, and a lot of these people I've worked with since I was in high school. My engineer, I've worked with him, Jabari Rayford. I've worked with him since I was 15, so I trust his ear. Um, and then just have a bunch of friends around too who are like, who I know keep me grounded. My family keeps me grounded. My siblings will always keep me grounded and never let my head go anywhere bigger than it needs to be. And that I think just having that strong support system, um, like people who would check you and motivate you, and also just people who understand how you work it makes life 100 times easier, in terms of just trying to develop because I'm able to communicate how I want something to be and know that it can end up like that. So yeah, my the team that I work with has done nothing but help grow me. And it's cool because I've been able to kind of grow grassroots. It's been like this whole like a lot of these people I've been working with for a very long time. So, but yeah, yeah, man. Shout out to the team that teamwork that makes the dream work.
There you go. Love that. I love that. There's like trust and loyalty and just
No,
persistence in general. And I think it was Virgil Abloh who said it, but he gave this lecture in Harvard and was saying that what you're doing when you're like 16 or 17 years old is honestly what you'll be doing for the rest of your life. You know, in
mm,
some shape or form. That's something that you'll be doing for the rest of your life. And so, even just thinking about you, what have been working with these people since high school, like I
yeah,
think that's like a testament to that it's not too soon to start your career prep or your like destination prep
mm,
because that is people you can be meeting like right now, you know,
no,
who'll
absolutely,
play a
yeah.
huge role.
My DJ, my engineer, a lot of my main producers, and granted, I've been able to branch out and do other things, and even then, like my managers who I met later on, I met through people who are part of the network from people I've known from high school. You
Yeah.
know, so it's all just I'm really big on being loyal to people, and granted, I've been blessed enough to been able to select pretty good people to have around me to be loyal to. But yeah, like I think being loyal to people, understanding that things take time and good things take time, and it kind of just you know all of the people around me do it because they love to do it. and that makes it a lot easier, to grow with them because I'm not worried about any ulterior motives or things of that sort. So it definitely helps a lot. But yeah, I think I was at 16. I was literally doing this. I was recording in my crib, trying to figure it out. I was trying to shoot videos and put out mixtapes and trying to. I was literally doing this pretty much.
There you
Especially
go.
if this was summer break, this is what I'd be doing.
Yeah.
So I really, yeah, I think that there's very much validity in that statement. Because I think around high school, you start at least figuring out um, some sort of passions. You may not be able to actually pinpoint it yet, but you start getting interested in things.
Yeah.
You know, and it may take a while for that to blossom into something, or for you to realize that this is your passion. Some people don't realize it till way later in life. Um, you always hear the stories about people who don't end up, making it until they're 40 or till they're
Right.
50 or blah blah blah. So it takes, like, sometimes it takes longer in life for you to realize it. But I think in high school though, that's when you start to really gain that interest on what I feel your passion actually is. And I've watched so many of my friends who've, did a broadcasting class or did something random, and then from there, in high school, it changed their whole trajectory. So I think it's definitely a lot of validity in that statement.
Yeah.
Great. I think to me, the main thing is like in high school, I just wasn't hanging out with the right people. And
Mhm.
that like half of it is like you can have that passion, but
Yeah.
if you're not surrounded by like people that support you or that want to help somehow or like believe in that as well, then you're not
Mhm.
going to get anywhere. I know one of our other mentors, I think Will I Am said that in his mentor interview. Charlie, I think, I don't know if you've seen, yeah, I think you have because we talk about it all the time. Like he always is like the people you're hanging out with are gonna like shape you into who you are, and that's would have been my problem. I wasn't hanging out with the right people. No offense to anybody who was my friend in high school. If you see this, I love you. You were amazing. But in terms of like career, I don't think I was doing like anything for my career. I was just like head in the clouds, just trying to get to the weekend, you know? I
Yeah.
would have put more time into like stuff that I care about.
Yeah. No, no, for sure. I mean, and even myself, I wish it was certain things that I was doing that I wish I wasn't doing, and I was focusing more on music. But yeah, having people around you that believe in what you got going on or doing the same thing, it helps a lot. But I do understand though, because through high school or even when you're younger, it's kind of confusing trying to figure out, who you should be around, what you should be doing, and stuff like that. So I don't fault you. You know what I'm saying? Like, like,
Would have been friends. We would have been friends. I know it.
we have been friends for sure. You know what I mean? So it's I don't fault you. It's a lot of stuff you learn in retrospect. But I think just I think if you really like something or you have a passion for something, even if you kind of don't, if you just feel a type of way about something, because you might not know it's a passion yet, you might just be like, oh, okay. I mean, it's not as boring as the other stuff I'm doing or whatever, then I would, start nudging towards that, whatever that is. But yeah.
Yeah. And whenever I went to college, I was trying to pick a major. I didn't have a major my whole freshman year, and I was like, what I don't want to do. And so I kind of just like worked from I know I don't want to do anything with science, so I'm not going to do anything with science or anything like that. But it was the same kind of idea of like this is more fun than that was. But
Right.
yeah,
I think people underestimate how much knowing what you don't want to do is still you going in the right direction. Like, I know I don't want to do that. Like, I don't know what I want to do, but I know it's not that.
yeah,
That's still like making a choice.
yeah. I have two quick lightning round questions.
For sure.
So you having a science background,
Hmm.
I'm assuming you have a bigger vocabulary than I do. So, how do you use any fun sciencey words in your music, and what is like the most fun? Or you're like, I can't believe I just put that word in a song, or like anything like that.
Um, I don't be using the biggest science words, but I think I've used some words that are like super sciencey, or just like in the way I broke them down. I'm trying to think of one. Like I mean, I said biostatistics, but that's not like super crazy. There's one that's like I mentioned just a lot of random bio stuff from time to time, like organelles or biostatistics or like sedimentary or like I just slide it in there.
Has more than one or two vowels. To me, it automatically is sciencey.
Yeah, definitely try to get as many I, E, and U sounds as possible.
And
So,
those sound fun. I'm sure those are fun to rap. Like after you like get like a flow, because then you're like, what can I build on this weird word?
for sure. Oh, it's beautiful. And then you try to figure out a way to like make sure that it's understood to people who never took biostatistics.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, those are fun. Those are fun for sure.
I'm gonna have to like start combing through because before I was like listening to your songs, just trying to like make sure I bleeped out anything, and then but I was like, he's going so fast, and I was like trying to keep, and then I was like, you're just very clear when you speak, so I was like, I'm sure it's fun to like.
Thank you, because that is I have worked on that so much. Like I used to mumble when I was younger. So like, and I have a very like my tone is kind of like this. So like, thank you.
I see it. I see it. I
This
respect it.
is so much progress.
They
Yeah.
need to have hooked on phonics for adults because I took hooked on phonics. I don't know if anyone else did. Shout out to hooked on phonics. Charlie, you probably don't know what that is, but it
I
just
know
helps.
what that is. What? How old do you think I am?
Time I drop a reference, you don't know what it is. Never mind. Okay, we'll talk about hooked on phonics
I think
later.
you're the first person I ever known that took hooked on phonics.
You're welcome.
That's
And we,
not the first.
it didn't go well because clearly I still mumble and have a lisp and a bunch of other problems. So anyway, the next question is a more Kayleen like heartfelt question, and like the song that I'm gonna play whenever we're closing out is your song Lost that I really like. I mean I like the whole sound of it and I like the words and like this I love everything about it. And I saw that choir even highlighted it and did an entire production on it. Do you seem to be authentically you when you're writing?
Mhm.
What would you tell to younger people that look up to you to like be authentically them or are afraid to like I want to rap or I want to write and I need to be this way. I need to like be hardcore or like I can't talk about my feelings or I only have to talk about stuff on MTV or whatever. Like how do you what would you say to people that are like trying to that have a story or have something to say like you but just aren't getting that, you know?
Yeah, I think two things. One, if you're going from a pure artistic, heartfelt perspective, does it help you? Like what you're writing about? Like when you listen to it, do you feel better? When you finish writing, do you feel better? Like, are you better before you wrote or after you wrote it than what you were before? Because if you're looking at it like that, it's like like when I wrote Lost, I literally felt better immediately afterwards. You know what I mean? Like um, immediately felt better. And then when I recorded it, I felt even better. You know what I mean? So, but sometimes you write some stuff and it's cool and it's like, oh, like, everybody sometimes write stuff to write stuff or try to, do something and you feel cool, but you don't really like deeply feel better, you know? But the thing is, that doesn't always have to be a heartfelt story or whatever. It can be whatever, but does it make you feel good, like legit, and not just because you can play it in the club or something, but like when you sit and listen to it by yourself, do you feel better than you did before you heard it? I think that if looking at it like that, that plays a part, and also party music. And I would love being played in the club. That for me, being played like in the club and like that sounds stressful because like that means I always got to hear myself. That's a lot. But also if you think about it, people party 3 days out the week. You know, people pregame do whatever. I was like 4 days out the week, maybe not even 4, 3 days out the week possibly, and even then those are for a couple of hours at a time. the music that you want to make is the music people clean up to, people will drive to, ride their bikes to, people clear their head to. You know, that's the music that I feel that has the most replay value and that lasts the longest, right? And typically those are things that people want to attach themselves to and reflect themselves on. Like these are more the introspective records. And granted, it may take longer, but they also don't go anywhere. Uh, so
They take longer, but then they last longer. You know,
yeah,
You
it's
get
like
me like teary. I like oh, I have like a really weird connection with music and like the emotional effect of it, and so I feel what you're saying.
yeah, yeah. Nah, like man, like sitting in the house, because even now, like that we're all in the house and we can't really go kick it like that. You know, what are you? I mean, streaming's down technically, but what are you listening to in the house? You're not listening. And granted, this is no. I love quality. I love all trap music. I love quality. I like music. You know, but more times than not, I'm listening to something that allows me to reflect while I'm in the house. So it's like if you look at it from the standpoint of yourself, like, do you feel better when you write this? Is this helping you grow? Um, and also, are you looking at it from the perspective of trying to be a big star or whatever? Um, specifically in rap, if you name the top five rappers in terms of streaming or in terms of popularity, like there are people who are very popular now or have been popular like over the past 10 years. They all are storytellers. All of them focus very heavy and they're very authentic to themselves. Drake talks about his feelings all the time. Kendrick is not even a super, happy rapper if you really listen to what he's talking about. And these are our J. Cole stories all the time, stuff like that. So it's like, and these are artists who, whether you like them or not, are some of the biggest on the planet. And it's like, and they have records that do well in those other areas, but the ones that tend to be the ones that grasp people have always been the ones that pull at your little heartstrings.
yeah. I love all of this conversation because it just made me like realize more and more that even though we're stuck inside and we're utilizing things like music to help cope,
Yeah.
we
Mhm.
are in this time where we're looking more into like what we value. So even
Yeah.
you like talking about music, how you do, and like naming artists that you love or like the music that you value, those are all part of like trying to figure out what values do we have, like why do we have those values. And I think
Yeah.
whatever you're saying right now, it totally backs up. And before too, what you guys are talking about Kayleen, you figuring out that you knew what you didn't want to do. I mean, that's like 101 with our made of best value win activity.
Mhm.
It's a bracket. Like we have this activity where we're trying to figure out like what we really value by looking at a whole list of values and doing the March Madness activity, and it brackets and you eliminate one or the other. So that's whole life in general. I think we're navigating like what am I strong at, what do I value more, and you're just like dwindling that more and more, and like you get focused more and more on like a couple, and then you just build from there. But I love
Yeah.
it. But
I think
knowing what you don't like you said, Femdot, like is just as important.
I think it's even might even be even more important because it's very rare that somebody instantly knows their strengths.
True.
But like you're way more likely to know what you don't like than what you do. That's just like naturally. I feel like that's just more people like, ew, I don't like this food. You know what I'm saying? What do you want to eat? I don't know, but I know I don't want to eat that.
Yeah.
So
Even starting with like, okay, I know I don't want to be this type of person.
mhm,
What do I have to do to make sure that I am not that type of person?
I'm
Like,
that type of
you
person.
can start there. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that's a fact. That's a
yeah.
fact.
There is one last question that we always ask all our mentors, and that is what does find your grind mean to you?
I think it is a lot of what we talked about actually. It is finding. what you're talented at, what tools you have been given, and applying that in a way to benefit those around you. I feel like grinding, you got to grind with a purpose. You need to grind to achieve something, and everyone has a grind. Everyone is able to, and we all have tools to do that. But it's just figuring out those tools and using them to be able to really grind with a purpose and achieve something that can help other people. So that's what find your grind means to me.
I love that. I love that. How do we keep finding out more about you? How do we listen to your music? This is your time to plug.
I'm also bad at plugging. My manager gonna kill me. I'm working. Yeah. So, Twitter and Instagram is femdot.com, which is also my website. It's spelled out like my Instagram. Um, yeah. You can find me on every streaming platform that there is under just femdot. And yeah, I'll be around. And then also, you can also find my nonprofit as well, Delacrim Scholars at delacrimscholars.com. We will be opening up another scholarship this year, towards the end of the year, and trying to do more work in the community as well. And yeah, other than that, I'll be in Chicago.
In the virtual streets.
I'll be in the you can find me in these virtual streets.
I like that. I never heard that. I don't know if someone else said that, but take that.
I'm gonna take it and run with it for sure.
Y'all can catch out some more. Y'all can catch some more Find Your Grind interviews and lessons all on Twitch. Mondays and Fridays we're doing more interviews like this, and then on Tuesdays or Thursdays we're having really cool mini lessons with some of our mentors, and then of course Wednesday are the really amazing Dream Team Roundtable for educators and parents. Check that out. Charlie, where can they find the squad?
At Find Your Grind, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on LinkedIn, we're on all of those. So you can find us on those virtual streets as well. And if you want to start your self discovery and career exploration today, visit us at findyourgrind.com and create an account. It's free. Find that may the best value win activity after this. Do it. And that's our show for today. Thank you again, Femdot, for joining us. Thank you, Kayleen, for the vibes. Appreciate you both. Happy Friday, everyone, and we'll see you soon.
You all soon. Would you accept all of me, and not just a part of me? Would you love all of me, and not just a part of me? Could I trust you with all of me, and not just a part of me? If I show you all of me, would you be a part of me? Cause I deserve happiness, and I understand my strength, but I'm not above the pressure. But I understand my pain, so I'm not above the struggle, and I'm not above the rain. And I know I deserve some loving, and I know that the clouds can't stay, and I know that the clouds can't stay, and I know that the clouds can't stay. Said 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 I know that the clouds.
That is Femdot's song Lost that he was talking about. That made him feel better after writing it, after getting in the studio with it. Check it out. It's called Lost. Go follow him on Instagram.
Would you accept all of me, and not just a part of me?
Y'all have a good weekend.
Would you love all of me, and not just a part of me?
Could I trust you with all of me? And not just a part of me. If I show you all of me, would you be a part of me? Cause I deserve happiness. And I understand my strengths. But I'm not above the pressure. But I understand my pain. But I'm not above the struggle. And I'm not above the rain. And I know I deserve some loving. And I know that the clouds can't stay. And I know that the clouds can't stay. And I know that the clouds can't stay. Said I know that the clouds can't stay. Said I know that the clouds can't